What does success look like to you? When you say the word, what pops into your head? Is it money, health, family, a job title, awards, or maybe you or your team performing in a particular way? Whatever the picture is, the key to success is consistency. We can all do something every now and again, but can we do that right thing time and time again? Now, people need to change because life changes, but we also need consistency, which is a bit of a paradox. Organizations typically struggle with behavioral change, and one of the reasons is because they can't decide whether it's because people aren't motivated enough, they don't want to do it, or whether or not it's that they don't know what it is that's expected of them. But I think there's a third element to this, and for me, it's by far the most important. People don't know how to change. I think it's useful if we consider it less as conscious behaviors and more as unconscious habits that have been embedded into us over a period of time. So what do we mean by a habit? Well, the first thing we need to know when we're understanding habits is the brain uses a disproportionate amount of energy considering how much of the body mass it actually accounts for. And because of this, the body could be in danger of getting into energy deficit if the brain didn't actually shortcut certain things and create habits. So because the brain is constantly trying to save energy, its first victim on the chopping board is conscious decision making. Actively making choices uses loads of our brain's processing power. So if we do something repetitively, consistency enough over time, your brain suddenly goes, okay, cool, I've got that. You don't need to think about it anymore. And that's how conscious behavior becomes an unconscious habit. Now, most people think about habits as physical things, smoking, biting their nails, stuff like that. But I think it's useful if we think of habits in three areas. Number one is the physical habit, as you just said, and if you're a sports person, you'd be about embedding those physical habits consistently so that you could win a game. But second is our thought processing habits. So if I said 5, 4, 3, your brain would fill in the gap. Or twinkle, twinkle, little, one for the nursery rhyme we've known since we were very young. In fact, advertisers have been trying to embed these thought processing habits inside of us for years. So if I say, have a break, have a, if you go Kit Kat, those advertisers would be absolutely thrilled. But there's a third, which is our emotional habits. If you get an email from your boss saying, please see me in my office on Monday morning, then it'll trigger a particular emotion that you've learned. The first time that ever happened to you, it wouldn't have been there. Or if somebody uses your full name, maybe like your parents did when you were in trouble, again, it might trigger that emotion. So we have those three types of habits, our physical ones, which we've known about for years, but there's also those thought processing ones and those emotional ones. And if we can understand that, then maybe we can start to generate habits which will help us to become more successful. Now, in order for us to perform consistently at our best, we need to know how to break old habits and develop new ones. And for that, you will be very pleased to hear there is a process. First of all, we need to know which habits we want to change or get rid of, or however it is. We just need to identify them. We identify the habit we want to change, and we figure out what habit do we want to replace them with. So we're taking one habit out and we're replacing it with another. That really helps with habits if you can replace one habit with another. If you just take one out and say, I'm not going to do that again, it actually creates a bit of a vacuum. So we want a habit to replace it with a better habit. Now, there are various different steps on this, but that's step one. We can deal with step 2, step 3, and step 4 in the next video. But first of all, this is the most important thing. Don't get overwhelmed with too many habits thinking about it. Think about what one single habit do I need to change to become the best version of myself? Or what single habit has been holding me back from being the best version of me? Just identify that one habit. Once individual and teams and leaders really understand how this process works, they can then start moving towards being the best version of themselves and achieving what they need to achieve.